ISIS did a deadly wave of attacks this week. So Reuters explains here, a car packed with explosives blew up on Thursday in southern Baghdad, killing at least 48 people and wounding 55. This was in a majority Shia area, and this is continuing the trend of ISIS basically waging a war on everybody who isn't them. If you're in a different sect of Islam, if you are a moderate Sunni and you don't believe in their Salafi interpretation, they're coming for you. Also, a suicide bomber attacked a crowded Sufi shrine in southern Pakistan on Thursday, killing at least 72 people and wounding dozens more in the deadliest of a wave of bombings across the South Asian nation. The attacker appeared to have targeted the women's wing of the shrine, and around 30 children accompanying their mothers were dead. Whew. So, jihadists attacking Pakistan, a Sufi shrine. So again, different sect of Islam that they say, you are not the real Islam, so we will massacre you. Women and children were targeted. So there is no bottom of the barrel. And again, Shia area in Baghdad, in Pakistan, Sufi shrine, women and children targeted. The death toll is just through the roof. And look, this goes to show you something we've been arguing for a long time, which is the view of people like Steve Bannon, for example, who say, we have a war going on, it's between Islam and Christianity. That's not true at all. The real war is ISIS versus all of us, or jihadists versus all of us. So under the umbrella of jihadists, obviously you add in, so there's ISIS, there's Al-Qaeda, there's Al-Nusra, there's Boko Haram, there's Al-Shabaab. But that's the real breakdown. Because if it's Islam versus Christianity, well then the Shia Muslims would be on the side of ISIS. They're not. They're the target of the brutality. The Sufi Muslims would be on the side of ISIS. They're not. They're the target of the brutality. Even women and children. Moderate Sunnis would be on their side. They're not. Again, they're the target of the brutality. ISIS kills more Muslims than anybody else. So the real breakdown is jihadists versus everybody, and the problem is the toxic ideology of jihadism. And oftentimes it's brainwashed from when you're young into that, or there's a radicalization process which might start with, for example, us bombing innocent people. That's your aunt, that's your uncle, that's your kid, that's whatever. And then you say, look, I was neutral on this question of America versus everybody, but now that my kid's dead, now that you bombed my grandma, now that you did this, now that you did that, and the Taliban steps in and says, hey, we are, we're the ones who are going to protect you. Well, that's how you get, more recruitment for them. And unfortunately, since the beginning of the war on terror, we've had more terrorists created. That's a fact. You could disagree. You could say, I disagree or I don't like that, but that's irrelevant because it's a fact. There are more terrorists now than there were before the war on terror was started. So the approach we're doing is definitely not working. So the answer is not just bomb anybody and everybody. It has to be more tactical than that. It has to be more intelligent than that. And furthermore, the best fighting forces against ISIS have actually been on the ground in the region, whether it's the Kurds, whether it's the Syrian army, whether it's Shia militias or other groups. So again, it's ISIS or jihadists versus all of us, and this proves it yet again with so many innocent civilians being killed. And in this case, it's Shia Muslims and Sufi Muslims, and it's a goddamn shame. And unfortunately, look, this is a reality too that we have to bring up because it is what it is, but there's more. This is almost getting no coverage. In fact, somebody tweeted at me yesterday in a kind of angry way, like, what the fuck, man? You just covered the story coming out of Pakistan about Valentine's Day and how they banned it. And so you can cover that, but you can't cover the fucking slaughter that just happened here. And I was like, wait, what? What are you talking about? There was a slaughter? I haven't seen it. I'll look for the article, but I haven't seen it. And so I don't know if it happened like the news didn't break until after I was off air that day or whatever the case is, but I'll tell you one thing for sure. It didn't get the coverage it deserved, whether it be in print outlets or obviously on TV. But if there's an attack in, France, or there's an attack in Germany, or there's an attack anywhere in the West, that's wall-to-wall coverage, man. But when you have, a Shia area in Iraq, or you have an area in Pakistan, I feel like there's this casual assumption that, well, that's just par for the course. It's not par for the course for the people who just got fucking slaughtered and the massive numbers of civilians who just got slaughtered and the fact that 30 children were dead and they targeted women in Pakistan, and that's not par for the course. Of course that's not par for the course. Even if they're relatively more war-torn regions, this was not expected, okay? And there's very little coverage to no coverage of this because the idea is, well, whatever, it's just Muslims bombing other Muslims. But you have clear victims in this case and clear evil perpetrators. So why are we not doing the, hashtag stand with, Pakistan or stand with Iraq when stuff like this happens, but everybody turns their Facebook profile to a French flag when it's in France. So there is a little bit of a double standard here. And same thing happened with Lebanon. There were attacks in Lebanon soon after one of the big attacks recently, and nobody cared about the one in Lebanon. They only cared about... So it's just... You'd like to see more sympathy for genuine victims in these kinds of places, and you just don't see it, and it's a shame. And the media should do a better job covering it, and they should have the same kind of outrage because, look, all these people have stories, man. All these people have stories, and they're the targets and the victims of ISIS and jihadist brutality.